So, have Digicams taken over your home? Are they under your feet and your pillows, inside your cabinets, and, tucked behind the toilet paper? Well, today's episode of 757 Lens, we're going to try to solve that. I'll show you a little system I've come up with that's affordable and easy to carry around. So, Digicam storage. I've got some notes here, so you may see me glancing off to the side here a little bit. But a little bit over a year ago, King Japes, maybe 18 months, King Japes had a video, which I'll put up here, where him and his friend Gabe did a video about Digicams. And to me, that's when this whole Digicam thing exploded. During this time, they had this video where they, got the $10 Digicam that everybody should have, and they were using an SD1000 by Canon, PowerShot SD1000, and an SD600, which I mistook for a 900 because I read it upside down wrong when I stopped the video and was trying to look at the name on, or the number on the camera. I'll get back into that. Anyways, so they're doing this video, and I thought to myself, that's really cool. I used to have an Olympus Digicam, which was really early on. I think I bought it around 2003, 2004, 2005, something like that. Great little camera, awesome pictures, not so hot on the video. That camera is now a submarine in the bottom of the Rappahannock River somewhere. But I think I paid $350, $360 for that camera. These same cameras, 18 months ago, 2 years ago, somewhere in that time frame, going for $5. These are great cameras. So I saw this video and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get me a couple of these things. So going back to the King Japes video, I'm thinking, I like that other one, not the boxy one, which was the SD1000, but the SD900. I thought that had a nice shape on it, and it had a viewfinder. So I decided that's what I'm going to get. So I decided to do some thrifting, and I got to tell you, here in coastal Virginia, the thrift stores are not what I see in these videos, which the thrift stores I've seen, especially out west, I'm just completely envious of. You've got thrift stores that are, it seems like they're the size of Walmarts. And out here, we have some decent thrift stores, but really the majority of them are just little used clothing shops with a bare essentials. You're not finding really good boutiques full of SLRs and Digicams and things like that. There are some good ones. I've got a few that I've marked down that I've had some good traction at and some repeat business, but for the most part, meh. Especially Goodwill out here. Goodwill in my area, clothes and kitchen stuff. That's it. You're not going to find any camera equipment there. They put it all on their website. So again, after watching some of these camera videos and all that, I kind of hatched my plan. I'm going to start trying some of this thrifting out to see what I can figure out and what I can find. And so, I'm going around, and my GOAT camera really is this SD900. That's the one I want. Again, it was a 600 in his video, but whatever. 900 is what I've got in my head. That's where I'm going to start. And out of a couple dozen stores in this area, they're just, it's pathetic. So, like I said, I found a couple of decent stores that I can check, and I'll find my camera here and there. And when you see how many cameras I've got, obviously I've been successful, but that's been through persistence. And there have been a lot of days, and several times I've actually tried to make a thrifting video, and hit 6-8 shops in a day and hit nothing. And I mean nothing. So out of all these stores, like I said, I've got a couple good ones. And I'm rambling, aren't I? And I've also used eBay, and I've used Goodwill online. What is it called? Shopgoodwill.com. Both have their pros and cons, you could say. eBay being the better of the two. But shopgoodwill.com, I found, though it has picked up traction, you can actually get the better deals there. What you got to think of, though, when you're looking at that, eBay, you've got a long-standing reputation. You can find some stuff on there, but everybody in the world's looking at eBay. And your camera equipment here in North America, and there's a lot of stuff for sale here from Japan, to a lesser degree, Europe. At least that's what shows up in my stuff without, singularly going down from country to country to find something. So anyways, going over to Shop Goodwill, I find stuff there quite a bit too, but it can be in any shape at all. And because items from Shop Goodwill are not centrally located or anything like that, they come from Goodwill stores from all over the country, and they're shipped from Goodwill stores from all over the country. And each store has its own process. So if you're going to shop on there, meticulously look at your pictures, and you have to make a choice sometimes when it says, haven't tested the camera, whether it accepts returns or not, which actually you should pay attention to on eBay too. Sometimes I found some really just horrible looking stuff on Shop Goodwill that actually turned out okay. We just cleaned it up and it worked perfectly. But again, you really need to pay attention to that. So I know, where am I going with all this, right? Anyway, so my search for the SD900 starts, and I'm looking for it. I found a few online, but they weren't hitting that sweet spot number. They were, probably shooting around $35-40, and I'm trying to find a $10 camera. So I'm leaning heavily onto the thrift stores at this point, searching them around in my area, which is Chesapeake, Norfolk, and Virginia Beach, Virginia, for the most part. That's my main loop. And there's about 24 thrift stores in that general region. And 3, maybe 4 of them that are worth it. So moving on from there, my very first Digicam, I've got the parts, or actually the model numbers written right here. The very first camera that I found, $5, was a Fujifilm FinePix AX250. And I saw it, and I'm like, okay, well, it's not the SD900, but I'm going to get it. First camera. About a week later, I found a Canon PowerShot SD3200. Pristine. $5. And a couple weeks after that, I found a Nikon Coolpix S4100. And so on. So, I at this point, I'm not finding this SD900 that I'm obsessing over, but I'm starting to get some cameras, and I decide at this point, well, they're so cheap. Why don't I get one of every manufacturer? So I'll find an Olympus, I'll find a Pentax, I'll get a Sanyo, I'll get a Vivitar, or a Casio or something like that, even on the low end, because they're just so cheap. And I found a surprising amount of these cameras barely been used. Some of them are just barely used at all. If any of you have shopped and purchased Digicams, it's always a treat to find a card in there and see some pictures taken years ago, which I can go into. I can make a whole video out of that. I know maybe it sounds a little voyeuristic, but it's just really weird to pull something out and find a card full of other people's photos. And I saved them all. I actually put new cards in these cameras. And if I ever come across anybody's stuff that if I could return these photos to them, I absolutely would in a heartbeat. You know, because I feel like I've got somebody's memories. So anyways, I'm starting to accumulate all these Digicameras, and you know, I've got them in an old thing about twice the size of a shoebox. So I've got these cameras, I've got chargers and batteries and instruction books and all this stuff. And it's coming time now that we need a little organization. I had another set of them. I had a row of them on a desktop in my room. I had like 7 cameras, all one after the other. I'm like, I've got to do something about this. So let me tell you about Harbor Freight. I went to over there looking for a cheap storage solution, and I think I found something that, well, it works for me. Maybe it'll work for some of you. I don't have any shelves or anything like this built or set up, you know, where I can just put everything on display, you know, cabinets with a light or anything like that. So what I did was I went over to Harbor Freight just to look for some cheap storage containers back in the toolbox area. And lo and behold, I found a really great deal. So let me break it out and show it to you. So here's what I found at Harbor Freight back in the tool department. This is a case by a company called Apache. Model number is a 3800, and what this is a clone of a Pelican case. So the specific case that this is a clone of is the Pelican case 1450. This Apache case retail price $40. The Pelican case $158. Big difference, huh? You could buy 3 of these for that and have some change left over. So I went with this. It's for Digicams. I'm not using it for, you know, SLRs and stuff like that. Anyways, let me show you what I've got in here. There you go. So, all my Digicams in one place, with the exception of 2 really big ones, which, you know, Mavica and a FinePix 5200. But there's that original Fujipix that I found, my first camera, my second camera, the PowerShot, third camera was a Nikon, and so on. So I've got all kinds of goodies in here. And my SD900. Also found a real cheap S95 in here too. So this has really worked out for me. I've got all my Digicams in one spot. I'm going to go through all of these and use them all. I should say finish using them and reviewing them. And I'm going to get rid of probably about half of them after that. So we'll keep an eye out for the eBay page later on. In addition, for storage for batteries and things like that, I picked up another small case here. This case was $6. And then with a label gun, very simple. You probably got one of these or something similar laying around your house. Just throw all my batteries and you know, extra things in here that you need. Some of these are, you know, original, and some of these are K-Stars and stuff like that that I've picked up off Amazon. But you know, every camera needs its batteries. So yes, grand total for all this, $32 versus a $158 case. Sold. So anyways, perfectly fine case, very heavy duty, and this one too. The only thing that I could say that would make this better is if they had one of these that had, you know, 2 rows here. And that way, you know, I'd have room for the rest of the battery stuff that I've accumulated. I've got some extra stuff that won't fit in here. I have picked up another case, but it just doesn't compare to this one, where I can change the size of the compartments to what I need for me. So anyways, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Again, I think I've said it twice already. Both of these cases are great. The majority of my Digicams fit into them. And and then this one, actually both of them are fully customizable to my needs. So there you have it, a good low-cost solution for your Digicam storage. Maybe something similar to this will work for you. Until next time, thanks for visiting 757 Lens. See you.